Do you feel like you're just wandering through life, doing the same thing day in, day out? Wake up, go to work, do a job that you don't really love, come home, eat, sleep, do chores, and just wait in traffic to go back to work to repeat it all over again? Doesn't that feel like that's not really the quality of life that you want to be living, the experiences that you want to be having? Do you feel like the things that you dream of are out of reach or unobtainable, or that you can only achieve certain things if you have enough money, if money is a limiting factor? Well, a lot of this has to do with your mindset, because money is nice. Money is a tool that helps you get through anything, but reality check is that once you have a certain level of money, you won't be happy. I mean, look at people like the richest men in the world. I can tell you right now, without getting political, those are some of the most miserable people in existence right now, and they have enough money and power to do anything they want. And why is that? It's all about the mindset. This mindset of never having enough and needing more, this greed mindset. And we've been conditioned to think and feel this way from a very young age because we're constantly fed advertisements. We're constantly told to consume, to consume, to consume, to buy more, trade your money for convenience. And as long as you're consuming and trading your money for convenience, you'll always be trapped because you'll always have to trade your time for that money. And your time is the most valuable thing that you have in this world. Your time is the one thing that you have that's finite. You need to spend it wisely. Because think about life in a modern city. People will say it's very convenient. You have all the restaurants close by, which if you've gone to a restaurant lately, you see how much everything costs. And that's not necessarily on the restaurant's fault. It's just that the cost of doing business has gotten astronomical. And it's to the point now where most of these restaurants are serving you the same crap food that's pre-breaded chicken that they got from Cisco, okay? I'm not knocking the places that are real mom and pop shops that are really making food from scratch. But the majority of these chains that you're going to go to, it's literally the same food. I work in the food industry, and I can tell you that it is literally the same food from restaurant to restaurant. And they might do a one little spin or twist on it, but it's the same crap. And the price of it has just gone up, and the quality has gone down. And I've talked about that in other videos where we're kind of seeing that in all sectors, where the cost of everything is going up, but the quality is going down. We're still stuck trying to consume more to compare ourselves to the latest trends, to see, who has this, who has what. I have this, you don't have that. Look at me, I'm better than you. I have a bigger house for all my stuff. I have this giant house for all my stuff. But do you think that stuff really makes you happy? Because I want you to look around where you're at right now. All of that stuff was once your time. And you had to exchange that time for money. And that money bought you that stuff. And there are some things that add tremendous value to your life. And those things are valuable, and you should hold on to those things. But I want you to really look around at all the stuff. Probably very few things do you find are really adding a tremendous value to your life. And I think as a society, we need to learn how to be content with less, how to shift our mindset to a more minimalist mindset. And I don't necessarily mean minimalism in the traditional sense of I have to give up all possessions and be a yogi, okay? If you have a possession that makes you feel really good, then I think you should keep that. Okay, I'm not trying to tell you to go give up your favorite things. All right, if they are your favorite things and they bring immense pleasure to your life, those things are good for you. What I'm asking you to do is the things that aren't really bringing you pleasure. Ask yourself, do I really need this? Do I really need to exchange my time for money so I can have more of this thing that's not really serving me? And I think you'll be surprised to find just how much of this stuff you really don't care about. And I encourage people to learn skills to do things themselves. Number one thing I always recommend is learning how to cook. I think cooking is a fundamental human skill that really everyone should know how to do. It's not a woman's thing. It's not a man's thing. It's an everybody thing, okay? So if you're locked in some old school style of thinking, get that out of your head, because cooking is a skill for everybody, okay? You have to eat to survive, so you need to know how to provide for yourself. And I find that cooking can be an extremely pleasurable thing because it is a healthy way to release the feel-good chemicals in our brain. And we can take control back by learning how to make things from scratch, the old school way, right? If you're making a soup, Don't buy the Campbell's chicken noodle soup that's super processed and, quote from their own CEO, 3D printed food. You can, get some bones, boil them down, take the time. Yes, it's not as quick, it's not as convenient, it takes a little more work. But when you take some bones, you boil them down, you take some carrots, some celery, and whatnot, and you boil down, you make a soup completely from wholesome ingredients. You'll just be amazed by the difference in flavor, and you will feel accomplished because you took the time to learn a skill, to do something that wasn't quite so easy. But when you get that reward at the end, it's so much more sustaining. It's so much more fulfilling because you actually put some effort in. It wasn't just handed to you. It wasn't a convenience that you were just given. You had to earn it. And I think the human experience, we want to earn things because then we can feel pride. Now, pride can be a bad thing, but I think having some amount of pride is a great thing. Okay, I think it's okay to be proud of your accomplishments as long as you don't let it become hubris. I think another thing you can do is teach yourself how to fix things. This saves me a lot of money, and I actually find it quite enjoyable. Pretty much every car I've owned, cars, they break down and have problems. I do all the work myself. I didn't have some crazy mechanic father who taught me everything. I taught myself everything I know about cars by watching YouTube, what you're doing right now. I just watched YouTube videos, and then people now come to me and think I'm a mechanic even though I'm not, because I know so much about cars. I was fascinated. I wanted to know how the internal combustion engine works. And I don't want to get on a rant about cars because it's not what this is about. But I taught myself everything I know about working on cars. I can fix cars almost no matter what, as long as I have the tools and the time and the money, which I am saving money, but I can fix almost anything. And it's not just cars. I mean, I could tell a story about my TV broke and it didn't turn on. The light didn't come on my TV. Come on, I've never worked on a TV in my life. I pulled the TV, put it down on my kitchen table. I unscrewed the back panel. I picked it up and I said, well, it's not turning on. The power supply must be busted. I look online. I find that the power supply is like $10. So I buy a new power supply, and it's literally, to me at least, this is very simple. It's just 4 screws. It's a whole circuit board. You take it out and you put the new circuit board in, screw it back in. Okay, boom, I fixed the TV. And when I tell my family that story, they're like, how in the hell do you know how to work on TVs? I didn't know you were a TV mechanic. I didn't know you were a TV repair guy. And I'm just like, I'm not. I just kind of had the curiosity to figure out how to do this. And I felt really good because I didn't spend hundreds of dollars on a brand new TV. I fixed what I already had. And this all circles back to not wanting to exchange my money, my time, for more convenience. I'm willing to do the work, to do the hard things, to do it myself so that I can spend my time doing what I want to do and the things that I find pleasurable. Another thing that's really hindering your happiness, and I'm not saying this to talk down on you, I'm saying this because I'm someone who's experienced this firsthand and I still struggle with this day to day, is that we are constantly fed distractions in our life. These little simple pleasures, these little tiny dopamine hits. We scroll. I'm a YouTube creator now, okay? I look through YouTube and I see someone subscribe to my channel. I get a little dopamine hit and I'm constantly refreshing the app to see what's new, what's the new comment. And that's not really healthy for me, okay? You may find that you're a cigarette smoker, or you like vaping, or you like marijuana, or you like drinking, and video games, TV, the list could go on. And I don't think any of these things are bad in themselves. I don't think it's bad to do these things, but you have to think about, why are you doing these things? What is the purpose you're doing these things? If you're having a drink because you're celebrating with some friends, I don't really think there's an issue with that. But if you're drinking every single day because you feel bored, because there's no excitement in your life, then I think you might have an alcohol problem. And that can extend to literally anything. And I can even use my own prior experience with the gym, okay? As I've talked about a few times on here, I used to be a bodybuilder, and you would think exercise and health is a good thing, right? But I took this exercise to the extreme. The reason I was doing this style of exercise is because I hated my body and I hated my self-image, and I took it to an extreme that wasn't healthy. So while working out and going to the gym and lifting weights isn't bad in itself, my mindset was unhealthy, and I was vain and I was narrow-minded, and I just wasn't really being kind to myself. So you've got to let go of these things, and I'm sure you feel it, that our attention spans are fried. Even me making this video, I'm having a hard time, focusing on what it is I want to say. And I don't script my videos. This is all just me being human to human, real conversation, because I'm tired of seeing these overly scripted people jumping around doing it just feels unnatural, right? This super highly scripted stuff, or even worse, the stuff that's not even a real person and it's just an AI robot in that same generic voice regurgitating the same lame jokes, and it's just the same phrasing, and it's just, we don't want that. We want real human connection. I'm a human on this end of the camera and you're a human on that end of the screen, okay? I'm talking to you, okay? This is personal. You can write a comment and I'm a real person and I'm going to respond to that. Okay. That is what we want here. And we need more of that and less of the distractions from social media. These constant, just like quick little, here, look at this, buy this, hey, consume this. It's overwhelming, and the human brain just isn't really designed to handle all the information that we're being bombarded with. And that's why we feel stressed, why we feel anxious. And we don't know what to do, and that's why we reach for the vape. We puff it a few times, we feel a little bit better, then we scroll a few more, and it's just this cycle never ends. This cycle doesn't end. What can we do to start having control of our life again? Well, I think there's two things you can focus on. I think every human needs these two things. You need to find something creative that you enjoy. And there's a high likelihood that you already know what that creative outlet is. For me, I'm a musician. I love playing guitar, I love playing piano, and I love writing. Okay, those are my outlets. And there have been times in my life where I haven't played guitar much and I haven't focused on my music. And I don't think it's any coincidence that those are the times in my life where I was the most depressed. So you need to find your creative outlet that you enjoy. That could be writing, playing an instrument, painting, woodworking, sculpting. I mean, the list goes on. Something that requires you to be creative and abstract. And I think the number two thing you need to do is you need to find something that you enjoy that challenges your body physically. And that could be going to the gym, lifting weights, that could be running, that could be hiking. It doesn't have to be complex, okay? You don't have to think about lifting more than the other guy like I did unhealthily in bodybuilding. You don't have to think about being the fastest runner. All you need to think about is moving your body in a way that you enjoy. And I think if you have this creative hobby that you're working at and this physical hobby that you're working at, I think you will start to crave those things. You will train your brain to crave those things. And the enjoyment and fulfillment that you get out of doing those hobbies is so much more sustainable and better for your mind and mental health than any of these quick dopamine hits that we're constantly addicted to. I dream of a society where people can just connect with each other, where if I walk up to a stranger and strike up a conversation with him, that's not considered taboo. He won't have any fear that I might be trying to hurt him, or be annoyed that I might be trying to sell him something, or that I might be doing some kind of prank video on him. That they'll just want to open up and talk to me. That is the society I dream of, and I think that we can work towards that if we focus on reclaiming our brains, okay? We have to reclaim our brains from this algorithm. We have to develop opinions and thoughts on our own instead of the same things that have been regurgitated to us through algorithms and AI.